Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to another Professor M Matrix Reviews. Today we are looking at a smaller figure. We're looking at the War for Cybertron trilogy Kingdom Optimus Prime. So he is in a blister pack, hanging pack. He's officially classified as a WFC K1. So he is an Optimus Prime figure. He's designed specifically for smaller figures, not to pair well with the deluxe class, but just a small little figure to play around with. So his packaging is fairly nice. It's very well decorated. So let's go ahead and spin him around here and give an overall look at it. And you can see clearly that he'll have his standard kind of truck format when we transform him. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So overall with the packaging, I'm actually really happy with the way the packaging looks. I'd say this packaging overall probably is one of the higher packaging. I'd say this is probably a 4 on packaging. So let's go ahead and get him out of his plastic prison here. So we're going to go ahead and hopefully... Oh look, mine's not sealed. So it should come out fairly easy. Look at that. Did not know that. So we'll take that out and we should have some instructions. So we'll take his little package and we'll put it back here out of our way. So let's take a look at the instructions first. What do we got here? We have our fantastic warranty certificate. Woohoo! And then we've got our instructions for War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. Overall, it looks fairly simple. We'll go ahead and figure out how to transform him in a little bit. But he's got overall pretty decent instruction set to go with him. So let's go ahead and take a look at him here, and we'll get our snips out to get him out of his prison. So snip him out, and hopefully he should just free right off of that. Don't want to totally break him or the packaging. So let's carefully extract him from his prison. He is in there good. He is our Optimus Prime War for Cybertron, and I believe this is officially considered a core class. Yes, he's considered core class size, so he is one of the smaller figures. So let's give him a spin around on the actual podium. So he has a backpack, but not as much of one as some of the others have had. He does stand fairly well. So let's just take a good gander at him. Overall, he looks pretty good. Colors match really well. He's a little darker than most of the other Optimus Primes out there. So as far as robot mode goes, I'd say definitely a solid robot mode. Let's go with a 3.75 out of 5. And then for accessories, he only comes with one accessory, and that would be his typical ion cannon. So let's go ahead and see how that fits in his hand and see if it's going to be a snug fit. So he does have his ion cannon. He can aim it fairly well. Hopefully none of you are scared right now. He's pointing down the camera at you. But overall, it comes with an ion cannon. He doesn't have either his blades or his axe, which normally would come with other Optimus Primes. But the ion cannon is kind of iconic, so I'm going to give him a 3.5 out of 5 for his accessories. In the meantime, while we check out his posability, let's go ahead and set that aside here. So let's start with the head. What do we have at the head? So the head, we have rotation. We do have a little bit of upward tilt if we pop that up, but that's more for transformation. Let's come down to the arms. We have full 360-degree motion at the arms. And a nice, just slightly above 90-degree elbow bend. And let's see, do we have any... We do have some bicep rotation. It's a little tight, but it's there. And then no real motion at the wrist. But we do have, obviously, some motion for transformation, I believe. Yeah, so it'll fold in for transformation. So overall, arms are a good bit of mobility. Now let's go down to the legs. He can kick way forward. So he's got a good high kick. That is well over 90 degrees. I'd say it's about 145 degrees up. Let's go ahead and see how far he kicks back. Now he does have a little bit of a package back there, so that might limit it. Doesn't quite go. Nope, he can get to 90 degrees, just about, say, 85 degrees. And then let's check his split capabilities. So as soon as I started doing that, his hips twisted up because of these side skirts. So let's see if this can move back at all out of our way. Does not move back at all. So the only way we can really get him to do a split is if we rotate his groin forward and have him sit like this. But at that point, yeah, I'm not even going to mention that. Let's just keep moving and not discuss that. But for posability, he's got some pretty posability of the hips. Let's check the knee. The knee, we have just under 90 degrees, 85 degrees of knee flexion there. And then the ankles, we've got nothing. We got a date stamp there of F065662. So I'm not sure what that means, but it's probably the run number. So, posability-wise, let's take a look. Can we get him in some good poses? We can get him into a semi-kneeling pose. We can have him looking up the sky. Look, up in the air. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Starscream. So we can kind of get him in some decent poses. This hip skirt is a little bit much, honestly. That's really going to annoy me. So for posability, if it wasn't for that hip skirt back there limiting posability, I'd say he had pretty solid posability, but as you can see, his hips just look odd. So if I rotate them back now, I should get good stance under him. But that hip skirt really does limit mobility. So I'm going to say for mobility and posing, he's actually only a 3. And that's mainly because of that hip skirt. So let's go ahead and try the transformation here. So we're going to go ahead and go through the full transformation, looking at what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, everything like that. So obviously probably we've already figured out the first thing we probably need to do is take the head, and we're going to, I'm assuming, usually with most molds it's folding down in. Yeah, so we're going to push it down in. So we get the head out of the way, and then we're going to get the arms out of the way. So those are going to rotate inward. Those are going to rotate inward if we can get it. Okay, so now he can do the looking like shockwave pose in the very, or not shockwave, soundwave pose in the very beginning of the Transformers movies or cartoons. And then it says we're going to rotate this whole part up and obviously close off the head. So that's going to go in there and close off the head. There is a little tab there, if you can see. It's very small, but it will go ahead and cover that, but it doesn't sit in snugly. Unless I just don't have the head down far enough. Let's see. Nope, it's just made a kind of pressure sit in there. So that is going to pop up pretty much any time. We get that little bit of a pop-up going there. So once we have the head covered up, then we're going to grab a hold of the chest and we're going to rotate him around. So we're going to come up here and rotate him around. That's pretty similar to the other Kingdom figure. Let's see if I can get this to pop down in, because I'm not liking that it doesn't snap down in. It does not snap down in. And once we've kind of rotated those together, then we're going to take the legs, obviously, and we're going to pin them together. You can see there are 2 sections that clip together on the legs. So we have to line them up perfectly and get them snapped together. Once we have them snapped together, right, it's pretty much going to be simple. We know that we're going to eventually rotate them back here out of our way. And then once we've got that, we kind of start to see the truck kind of come to formation there, right? He's kind of starting to look more like an Optimus truck than anything. And we're going to take this part of it and we're going to rotate this down and under. So that's going to form the front of the cab there. So we've got the front of the cab formed up. We've got the back of the cab formed up so far. And then we're going to take these arms, and I'm assuming we're going to accordion them back and in. That's what we usually do with the arms. Let's take a look. So for most Optimus Primes, we usually just accordion them back and in. So they're going to go, oh, I see, there's pegs down there for them. So they're going to come back here, and let's see, where is that peg for? It's right there. So I'm going to assume these are going to rotate back and around. These are going to rotate back and around. That makes more sense now. So these are going to rotate back and around and tuck under. Assume they're going to come together in the back here. That doesn't seem to match up. This is why I do it live, folks, to see if we can figure out what's going on. So they're actually going to stay the way they were. They're going to stay forward. I'm just double checking. So they're going to stay forward and then just rotate back. And just rotate back. Okay, we got them rotated back. And then the arms are going to rotate. So they're going to rotate straight back. Rotate straight back. Let's try to keep the hands in where they're supposed to be. So that should get them to come together at the back. That does not look right. You would think these arms come together a little bit more. So what happens is these arms are going to go hook like that, and rotate back, and then you're going to tuck the arm in and under behind the front of the truck. So they should come together then like that. In the back, you'll have a gap. And then you're going to bring this up, and that's going to peg into those holes under the arm. And there should be a nice pegging motion there. And then this should come up and over the front before we rotate those. So let's get that up and over the front before we rotate them in. because this has to be in place first. So this is going to rotate up and clip in. Then those arms are going to clip back. And then once those arms are clipped back, he's going to sit down on those pegs and just kind of snug him up a little bit, make sure everything's in its place. And there he is in his alternate form. It's not the best. There's a lot of kibble showing. There's a lot of, I mean, those are just, he's just literally a truck with his feet back there, right? He doesn't look all that different from where he was. So let's go ahead and take a look. So overall, you can see, I mean, in general, he doesn't even out that. There we go. I got him evened out as best I can. I really do not like this cab pop keeps coming up because it's just his head hiding down in there. That should snap in place. His wheels are not pinned, they are clipped, which is going to limit mobility. The front of the truck doesn't look too bad. It's, you know, party up front and then, whoo, what's that in the rear? Let's go ahead and take a look. Now that we got the transformation done, I'm going to say the transformation is okay, but, you know, it's 2.75. It's not the greatest transformation. It definitely does not cover everything. His alt mode, again, I'm going to give it 2.75. There's way too much kibble showing up. There is no bonus alt mode, so we don't have anything there. And let's talk about accessory storage. So it says we can take this cannon and we can fit it up in between here and store it back here on his pegs. Well, that's something. I guess you can do that. It stores that out of the way. So let's look at mobility here wise and see how much mobility he has. Accessory storage, I'm just going to give it a 3. It's okay. It's not great, but it's there. And because he has those clipped wheels, he does not roll very well. Let's get him coming in towards the camera here. So he's going to come rolling right in towards that camera and roll right away. You can just tell it's Optimus Prime kind of sitting down as a truck. Mobility-wise, I'm not really happy with that. I'm going to give that a 2.0. And then, unfortunately, for fun factor, because this one is fairly cheaply made, honestly, it's okay. I was going to give it a 3, but the way it looks, everything like that, I cannot in good conscience give it a 3. It does have his Autobot symbols on his shoulder, and there goes the gun falling right off. They have it on the correct shoulder, at least. There are some others that haven't done that. But fun-wise, I'm going to give it 2.75. I want to give it a 3, but I can't. So overall, looking at this figure then, what do I see it as? This is a nice little Optimus figure, I guess, if you wanted to give a family member and weren't too worried about it getting broken. But again, it's not the greatest Optimus figure in the world. I would say overall, I'm going to say it's a 3. That's the highest I can give it. Probably a 2.75 to a 3, but I'll give it a 3 just because it's Optimus. Other than that, I hope that you'll go ahead and go down below here. Like, follow, subscribe, leave comments. I hope to hear from you guys. If there's something else you're looking at, we've got a couple more of these Core Class figures coming up. They should be shorter videos, hopefully.